Hey gang, it's Pete from MyJuryBench.com. Today we're going to talk about this product review I want to do for the multi-function Timegrapher watch timer for mechanical watches, and I want to go over what I think of it, how it's worked for me, and what you get when you order one. So let's talk about what comes with the product. Pretty simple. You get a power supply, you get a power cord, you get your pickup mic right here, and you do get the computer system or the Timegrapher itself. This is a pretty simple product. It's not very complicated, very easy to use, which makes it perfect for the hobbyist or semi-professional. If you're using this as a tool to help you time watches, it does work fairly well. So let's talk about the product itself. To turn it on, we're going to hit the start button. When you turn it on, the light will come on, and you go into your display system and it's ready to pick up. If you want to adjust any of the settings, we're going to hit the menu button. We're going to hit the stop button and then the menu button. And now we can get into the 4 things that you can change or manually program on the computer itself or the Timegrapher itself. We have the beat rate, which is currently set to auto, and you do have I think it picks up 8 different automatic beats, mostly for mostly modern watches. You can go in there and manually adjust a variety of timing. So if you know your timing, you have approximately 40 different beat rates that you can set manually, and they range anywhere from 3,600 to 43,200. We also have the lift angle, and for the most part, I'm going to go back here. I'll hit the menu button to get down to lift angle. You can adjust this 1/10 of a degree every option, and this goes from 30 to 70 degrees. If you know the lift angle of your balance, then you can enter it here. If you don't, just leave it alone. The test period, we'll drop that down. You can go from, I believe it's 3 seconds or 2 seconds, 2 seconds up to 60 seconds. And what that means is it'll test the timing of your watch in this particular mode once every 60 seconds, and in this mode every 2 seconds. I'm going to leave that at 12, and then we'll go down to languages. I speak English, so I'm going to leave it on English, but there are several languages that you can switch to. When you're all done, just hit the stop button, and now we're ready to use the Timegrapher. The Timegrapher is pretty simple. When it's like this, when you stick a watch in the pickup mic, it's going to start detecting the beat rate automatically. The first watch I want to throw on the timer is this beautiful Illinois Abe Lincoln version. This is a railroad grade pocket watch, 21 jewel, and I recently serviced it. However, I haven't had a chance to time this watch yet. I'm not going to go through timing this watch. I've already done that. I'll put a link in the upper right corner of this video where you can go watch me use this Timegrapher to time a customer's watch. Let's take this particular watch. It is wound. I'm going to put it on the pickup mic right here. So we'll put it in the face up, and really and truly you should put it so that the crown is in that little indent. And now if we look at our Timegrapher, it's going to start picking up automatically. Now I like to give this about 10 seconds or so for the balance wheel to settle in to its own power. And then we're going to sit and see how well this keeps time. Typically, when you have a watch that's running just about perfect and keeping very, very accurate time, this line should be perfectly horizontal. If it's going down, that's an indication that the watch is losing time. And if it's on the upswing, that's an indication the watch is gaining time. So here you can see this particular Illinois watch is 18,000 beats per hour. We have a beat error, which is the error in which the pallet jewel rubs against the pallet fork, of approximately 4.3 milliseconds. To your ear, you won't be able to hear that, but it's nice to see, and we can make adjustments to get that probably down to half a millisecond. Now that the watch has been in the pickup mic for about 20 seconds here, you can see we're running about anywhere from 6 to 11 seconds slow per day. That's in the upright position. So now if I want to test this in this position, we can let that settle in, and you'll see when you move the watch, it'll give you a little bit of an error in here, but now we can see that we're going down a little bit quicker. So we're watching this line. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. we're watching this line and it's coming down quicker, and you can see our rate has dropped to 20 seconds slow per day. And now if I want to see this in the face down position, I can move my pickup mic, I can twist it around like that, and we'll give this about 10 seconds to settle in. That balance will come back to its own power, and we'll see where it falls on the timing after that. So you can see we've settled in here. We're still a little erratic, but looks like it's going to start picking up a little bit of speed here. We'll just let that settle in a little bit more. And you can see now we're running about 3 seconds per day in the face down position of this pocket watch. Now these pocket watches should be timed in 5 positions. However, you know, the watch is a little over 100 years old, and there is going to be some other wear and tear on the watch, even with new mainsprings. Can we get them perfect? We can get them just about perfect, but they're never going to be completely accurate. One of the other things that I see happening is that you can become OCD about watch timing, and I think you have to remember that there is physics involved in a watch, a mechanical watch. So it'll run differently in different positions. Just keep that in mind. So don't try to get it timed to 0 seconds per day in every position. I mean, you could kind of go nuts trying to do that. These are just a tool to help you figure out if you're pretty accurate. Okay, that being said, let's remove this pocket watch out of there. And now let's go to this Invicta. Let's talk about this Invicta. I bought this a couple of months ago on Amazon, and I'm not a big Invicta fan, as some of you already know, but I like the watch. It's a decent watch, decent movement, and I wanted to see how well it would run for me, just as a test. So let's put this on the pickup mic and see what happens. So I'll put that in there. It's going to automatically detect. It's going to give us our beat per hour up here, 21.6. For this particular movement. I don't remember what movement's in there. I'll have to look it up. We're going to let that run for about 10 more seconds to see where it tapers off at. Okay, so in the upright or face-up position, this particular watch is running at approximately 6 seconds per day fast. You can see it just jumped up to 8, so there is some erraticness to this movement. Pretty common in a inexpensive mechanical watch. Now if I want to see what this is like in the face left position, we'll let this taper off. And you can see it slowed down a little bit. Again, that's common because we have 2 points of contact on the balance staff, and it should slow down just a little bit. Now remember, we're looking for averages. We're running about 3 or 4 seconds slow here. And as the watch moves, it's going to be a little erratic. That's not terrible, but it helps me to determine how accurate this particular watch movement is. So if you're a watch collector and you want to purchase a watch, or you purchased a watch, maybe you bought it, you know, from a dealer online, or you purchased it at a local dealer store, you would bring it home, you want to test it to make sure it keeps a really good time, you can buy one of these. They're pretty inexpensive. I believe right now they're about $170. You can make sure your own watches are keeping accurate time, and if you start to see some erratic differences in a watch, it may be time for service. Okay, so that Invicta works pretty good. I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to take a look at this particular watch. This is my personal watch. I built this watch for myself about a year ago. It is a Valjoule 7750. I purchased direct from Etta. I did get this case online, and I bought the band online. I really like these silicone bands. They're waterproof. They hold up really well. They conform to the circumference of the case, which is really nice. But it's the movement I'm mostly concerned with, so let's see how accurate this 7750 is. I'm going to throw that in the pickup mic, and we're going to let that sit for about 10 seconds. This should come in at 28.8 beats per hour, and it does. Now this particular movement came direct from ETA. It's serviced at the factory before it ships. I did give it a little bit of light oil just on the escapement when I put it in the watch, and you can see running there, it's running pretty horizontal, and we're running about 1 or 2 seconds fast per day. That being said, this watch has been very accurate for me when I wear it, and it's my everyday watch. Now I'm going to flip this over so that it's side facing, and we're going to see what happens when we run this particular watch for about 10 more seconds. Looks like we're gaining a little bit of extra speed, about 8 seconds per day in the face sideways position. That's pretty good still. I'm pretty happy with that. Now I want to show you a little trick that you should be aware of. I'm going to unscrew the pushers for the chronograph. Now, if you have an older chronograph, perhaps a vintage watch from the 60s or 70s, or even a newer watch that's running a little erratic when you have the chronograph running, let's put this on the machine here. So we've got the watch running on the mic pickup, and you can see we're running at 0 seconds per day. If I start the chronograph, you'll see here the chronograph is going to start now when I push the button. What I want to look at is to see if I have any degradation in operation with the chronograph running, because now I've got about 6 extra gears running in this watch, and if there's a problem with the chronograph, this watch should slow down. The watch is still running about 2 seconds per day, which tells me that there's nothing wrong with the chronograph on this particular watch, and it doesn't affect time at all. Now, if you have an older watch that hasn't been serviced, and you start that, when you're timing the watch without the chronograph running, and it's keeping very good time, but you start the chronograph and it starts losing time, that means that you'll need to have serviced the chronograph section of your automatic wristwatch. Well, we're good here, so I'm just going to pass that on and move to the next watch. I'm going to tighten these up before I forget. And the last watch I want to go through and show you is if you buy a watch movement online, and what I've got here is a brand new DG3804 GMT movement that I purchased on eBay. I'm not a great fan of these watches. I've done a couple of videos on them. I'll put another link to that description below where I did the service of this particular watch, or a watch movement just like this one. Here's the brand new movement. I've taken it out of the shipping case just because it won't pick up in the pickup mic. And I'm going to put this on the timer and close that very carefully. And now let's see how this comes in from the factory. We're going to let this taper off here for about 10 or 15 seconds. This watch came in yesterday, and I have not done anything with it. I just took it out of the package right now. It's beating at 21.6. And to my surprise, this watch is running at 0 seconds lost per day. I'm impressed. I don't even know if I'll have to service this. Let's flip this upside down and see what happens. Again, we're going to let it taper out so the balance falls back into its own power for about 10 or 15 seconds. You can see our indicator lines are on the drop. What that indicates to me is that although the watch is running well, it's only losing about 31 seconds, it does need to be timed, and that the lower balance jewel on this might need a little bit of oil. to accommodate for that, because when the watch is in the face down position, the lower balance jewel is the one that's got the most pressure on it from the balance wheel, and that's where we get most of the friction, and it's slowing down because of that. If I put this back in the upright position or face up position, we'll let that taper off for about 5 or 10 seconds, and you can see it's falling right back into its most accurate run time. 5 seconds and it's starting to taper back down to 0. And if I put this face forward, let's see what happens. Still gaining about 5 seconds. And we'll let this go for another 10 or 15 seconds here and see just what's going on. And we're down to 1 second. So it's not bad on the face forward and face up position. It seems to run good. That tells me that either there's very little oil on the lower balance jewel or that there might be some friction on the balance staff. Something that you might want to go and address if you are a hobbyist. So guys, that's my review of this particular product. It's helping me out greatly because it sits right at my bench. I don't have to get up. I can just throw the movement. I can throw a movement right on it and let this thing just run. And then I can go back and check out exactly what I need to do by making the, by observing the function and runtime of the watch. I can go back and determine pretty much what it needs. And you'll gain that experience if you're a hobbyist just getting into watch repair or a collector. You'll determine what you need to do. Now, there are times where you're going to pick up an antique watch somewhere and you might run into a situation where it doesn't pick up. Perhaps your watch is running too weak for it to pick up, and I believe this one might have that issue. So I'm going to put that in the timer here, and we're going to see if it picks up well. And you can see that this watch is running very erratically, and unfortunately, I haven't even gotten to this watch. It does need to be disassembled. Needs a full service, probably a new mainspring. And you can see how erratic it's running. And if I go and try to adjust the time, I'm probably not going to get it very accurate. Even though we've got a low beat error, it does need some tweaking. 68 seconds per day. And you can see there's no consistency in the operation of the watch. That watch is fully wound, by the way, so it should run a lot better than that. So that's a good determination as to whether or not this watch needs to be serviced. If you see something like that, no matter what position it's in, probably have to tear down, clean it, and put a new mainspring in. So keep that in mind. It's kind of one of the things that helps you determine what's wrong with your watch. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. This product review is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I've been using this consistently for the last 3 weeks, and it really does help me move along and adjust the watch speed and the beat errors. Although, like I said, if you are an obsessive person who wants to get a watch down to 0 seconds per day in every position, this is not the product for you, and you're going to go crazy doing that anyway, and I wouldn't recommend that. This is a good product. It's not a heavy-duty product, so just be careful with it. It is very affordable, very accurate, and I really enjoy using it. Enjoy, guys, and if you want to purchase one of these, the link is in the description below. It is an affiliate link, and I make about $2 every time you buy one. It doesn't cost you an extra penny. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.